plates indicate 250 class bikes, blue number plates 350 class bikes, and a yellow background indicates, and there are only a small number of them, 500 class bikes. So this is the way they'll line up. From the first round, we had the winner in the 500 race on a Suzuki 500. Steve Trinder takes pole. Michael Dowson was third on a Yamaha 250, and in the absence of Craig Trinder, will take second grid position. Donny Osborne, the Honda 250, takes third. Peter Radford, Suzuki 500, fourth. And Jeff McNaughton, who injured himself yesterday, did a shoulder, should be in fifth place. Tony Hinton then, 43, will be in sixth grid position on the front row. Peter Hinton, his older brother, on bike number 8, will take seventh position, and then completing the front row, the man who's been quite electrifying today so far, winning both 250 and 350cc rounds, Jeffrey Sale on the Scholastic Yamaha 250, then Craig Morris and Dean Scown, both on Yamaha 250s numbers 21 and 94. That's the way they line up for 15 laps of the Toshiba 500cc Australian Road Race Championship Round 2 on the Oran Park Grand Prix circuit. And they now move quietly down into position.
And the big question exists, I guess, as to whether Steve Trinder on the 500cc RGB Suzuki can hold out the screaming 250cc machines. Already the 500cc Grand Prix record has fallen today to a 250cc bike. Jeff Sale took that record at 1 minute 16.18 seconds in the 250cc race, and the 500 record stood to Paul Lewis at 1 minute 16.4, that record having been set 2¼ years ago at Oran Park.
All in readiness. Dowson last to move into position. And flag says go, and it's a clean start. Sale gets away well, about fourth. He's on the outside next to the fence. And
big start from Peter Radford.
Is Radford. The 500cc class machines really showing their usefulness as they jump away. So it's Radford
with Trinder on the inside of him, so the two 500s in the lead. That's Greg Wood on 66.
Trinder was the man who alarmed not only Graham Crosby, the Grand Prix rider of enormous ability here in a Swan Series, but himself had two dreadful crashes in Swan Series before both marrying the girl that was helping him get better, but also retired. 14, Steve Trinder now in the lead. Radford second. Then the 250, slower to get away, but tremendously nimble around the track. About 103 kilograms for Jeffrey Sale's bike, and about 70 brake horsepower. A real little flyer that's in sixth place at the moment. There he is, in that middle of that group of three, in the latter group.
The Oran Park circuit rebuilt this year at a cost of some $250,000 for a resurfacing job, and it's really showing as the bikes charge down now into Castrol Corner.
Radford being cautious in Castrol Corner, onto the straight.
Tony Hinton had an exploratory alongside him.
And Sale's pulling up. Jeffrey Sale, hand up on bike number 10, and is pulling out of the race. So after two wins and just starting to get into the groove and to do the lap times to make a charge on the 500 race to go for a triple win on the day, he pulls up and is out. So it's Steve Trinder from Radford.
Then comes Tony Hinton, followed by Donny Osborne, both on 250cc machines there.
Osborne will be glad to lose Sale, the man who's proved his nemesis twice today. Osborne's led him on both occasions and been overtaken on both occasions in exactly the same spot, peeling off into the S's.
A real Indian summer day at Oran Park today, and that means the tyre wear could in fact become a real problem for the 500cc machines later in the event.
That was a 3 seconds slower opening lap than for the first round of the Western Underwriters Superbike standing lap of their 12-lap race. It gives you an idea of how quick those modified production bikes are. Oh, dear oh me. Shaking its head badly there. Tony Hinton's bike. My goodness gracious.
Hinton felt that he desperately needed to get through Radford to give himself a slingshot down the straight. All he's done is lose speed to Don Osborne in fourth position, who now comes out of the slingshot and goes for Hinton down the inside. It'll be a braking duel into the corner. Hinton holds it, but only because Osborne decided that discretion was the better part of and backed off. Whoa.
Let's have a look at this. This is Castrol Corner, onto the straight. Goodness me, did he ever have to get out of the way there? Sat the bike up. And at it again now at the bottom part of the circuit. Hinton from Osborne, 43 and 18.
Bradford obviously driving on the power and not looking for handling with the 500 bike, because he's obviously very slow in Castrol Corner, obviously a frustration for these nimble, better handling 250 bikes. And again, he'll prove an obstruction this time round.
But also bikes which in some ways are easier to handle. Their power is much more peaky, but there's a lot less of it. Those 500s, when you wrap on the power, they really do leap. And for a less experienced rider, such as Steve Trinder, who's been out of the saddle for a while, but there's nobody braver, or some might say more foolish, say it cautiously. And I only mean in the sense that Steve has suffered some dreadful accidents which upset a lot of motorcycle sport followers to see happen, because he really did knock himself about badly. 29 years old, as he said earlier. Everybody thinks I'm older than that, but I'm not. Young brother Craig is just 21, and here in the pits is Jeffrey Sale. Very bad luck, because it's been a great day. There's older brother Murray with the Dunlop cap on, and getting adventurous of kicking the front up under power, Radford from Western Australia. Second place, Bradford.
Bradford's is the Team Henderson bike. Tony Henderson is a man who for the last 2 years has been trying very much to promote an international motorcycle racing team in Australia with some success. Bradford went to Malaysia recently and won a long distance event.
He was in fact the man that kept Michael Dowson's racing career alive until Michael got picked up by other people, including of course Toshiba Team Yamaha.
So now Radford down the straight in second position. In front of him is Steve Trinder, and behind him the scrapping 250s with Tony Hinton on the Rotax and Donny Osborne on the Honda 250. These two bikes well in touch with Radford in second place. Should the tyres of the big 500 start to go off later in the event, these two bikes well in position to take over a major position. Now through the Valvoline S's up to Yamaha Corner, where on Friday the stump of a superbike let go and brought down 6 riders, including the new Roger Hayes machine, I think. Yes, the Suzuki GSX R750, which was written off on Friday in the practice crash. Just a flash of Steve Trinder disappearing out of shot as Radford goes through, and then Hinton again followed by Osborne.
Second place, third and fourth, with Steve Trinder still leading on 14, a couple of seconds in front of Radford on 33. Osborne trying to find it, little bit extra. Beaten twice today by Jeffrey Sale. Now surely he's saying to himself, not by Tony Hinton. Honda on under number 18, the V-twin of Donny Osborne versus Tony Hinton on the twin-cylinder inline Yamaha-based machine, Rotax, sorry.
Hinton really does take a tight line through there, but it seems to work for him.
His machine's shaking itself about, whether it's the way he's got the suspension set up or the frame, I'm not sure, but Osborne's machine looks much more stable there as he comes out onto the straight, and good through the fast one there at the bottom of the straight.
Yeah, a couple of bad crashes here early in the week. As I said, there was the crash at Yamaha corner, and just at the end of the straight, unfortunately, Bill Sayers went off in Thursday practice, and I regret to say is in a very serious condition in the Sydney hospital with head injuries, and we wish Bill the very best and hopes for an early recovery. As now Osborne comes around the outside of Hinton and then cuts to the inside as they go up over the bridge. That's a brave place to try it, and he has to get out of there.
lap race coming up to complete lap 7, the race leaders. So just short of half distance. The third round of the Australian Road Race Championship is next weekend up in Surfers. At Lakeside, and then 3rd of September, the same weekend as the Sandown round of the Endurance Championship, which will be covered by the ABC, is the Adelaide round of the Road Race Championships, round 4. Wanneroo is just a week later in Western Australia, and then it's a long time until the final round, which we'll be covering when we do the Swan Series for either Calder or Sandown, yet to be resolved in late November. This is the race leader, Steve Trinder from Albury. A pile of taut muscle, and a very happy guy and loves his road racing, just as he felt compelled to come back. Jeffrey Taylor, I noticed, wandering around the pits today, and a many times Australian sidecar champion and Grand Prix winner at Bathurst, I said, "You can't keep away." And he said, "Well, I haven't been to many, but he was helping Darryl Biggs with his machine." Steve doing it very sensibly. He rode like an absolute demon here against Graham Crosby, diving under him in a really crazy short circuit style almost. It really alarmed Graham Crosby, used to the flowing Grand Prix style. We see now Osborne in front of Tony Hinton. So he's done it on 18. He's up into 3rd place. And wondering now if he can make his way forward to Radford. He's got half the race to do it. About 7 laps. Having a good day in the presence of 2 older generations of his same family, whom we'll be seeing a little bit later. Years old Donny Osborne, same occupation as Andrew Johnson, bulldozer driver and heavy equipment operator. Two famous names and families in Australian motorcycle racing, in which many generations have raced. That's 2nd Radford, with Trinder having disappeared. 3rd and 4th, down sweeping into Castrol Bend.
4.94 seconds separates 1st and 2nd position, and then it's another 9.07 seconds back to this dice for 3rd place. Between Johnny Osborne and Tony Hinton on the Rotax. There's Peter Radford, 2nd place. And the dice between the 250s as they shoot down the main straight, and it's being led, of course, by that veteran Steve, well, was being led by Stephen Hardwick, who was rounded up by Steve Matheson.
And then Peter Salmon. Numbers changed. It was Peter McKay who won a 350 Grand Prix at Bathurst, number 70. Also sandwiched into there. Or in fact, being picked up by them was Stephen Hardwick. And 12. Greg Drew, regular competitor on 250s, towards the back of that pack, and it's on still for third place. This time it's Osborne defending, Hinton attacking, and you can see they're not so very far from Radford. The leading bike's on their 10th lap, so 5 full laps and a bit for this pair on just 250cc machines, half the capacity, half the number of cylinders, and a little bit more than half the power of the 500, from which they're separated by only about 3 odd seconds. Osborne now just as concerned with trying to get a glimpse of Radford and an idea of how hard he has to work to catch him as of fending off Hinton. Here they come. You just saw a glimpse of Radford's helmet.
Osborne a real find this year in Australian motorcycle racing. He's currently won 5 state titles, 2 in New South Wales, 3 in Victoria. Hinton comes down this time, pulls out of the slipstream, under brakes. Osborne's got it covered. No! Whoa! Woo!
Now, the way Hinton positioned himself there, I reckon he had to be down the inside and going for it. And Osborne sort of thought about things again. And you can see how much closer they are now to Radford in second. Radford on the 500 4-cylinder Suzuki, around 115 horsepower. This pair have about 70 each.
Steve Trinder in the lead, goes down to Yamaha corner on the Suzuki. Second place is Radford.
Let's have a look at the gaps as Trinder goes through. Radford arrives, and we'll give you a measure of them. Gap to Radford 6.24. Gap then to Hinton, now in third place, 2.6. Osborne slowing just a little bit, but Hinton suddenly galloping away a bit. I don't think Hinton's bike's got it to haul in Radford, whereas Osborne's, when it was cracking, might have. Only a few laps remaining, 2 and a bit. And even Hinton is getting closer, but it still will be touch and go as to whether he can get to him and then solve the argument within the short amount of time left. Only about 6 odd kilometres, but really trying, and now pulling Osborne with him. Osborne perhaps wrong cog, although that doesn't make much sense either, but is right on to Hinton again, as you can see, and travelling at well and truly race speed. So, was 2.6 seconds, and it's now 3.1. So it's not working for Tony Hinton, not narrowing that gap. So we turn our attention to this ongoing dice between the two of them. 13 completed. Tony Hinton, big and gangly. Donny Osborne, very slight stature, could almost be a jockey, short and lightly built. Doesn't look like 3 seconds there to Radford. Try and get a measure. But Alan Osborne, his father, also very slightly built. Now some bravery from the 23-year-old. But it only puts him offline and costs him time.
Big crowd at Oran Park today for the motorcycle racing. Been a real resurgence of interest in the circuit since it was taken over by its new ownership this time last year. 1 lap to go. Tony Hinton in 3rd place, Donny Osborne in 4th.
And it is more than 2 seconds. So I fear there's nothing Hinton and Osborne can do about it. As the race leader, Steve Trinder, winner also of the first round down in Tasmania. The 1980 Australian 500cc champion, following on Jeffrey Sale in 77, Stu Avant, the Kiwi resident here, in 78, Graham Geddes 79, then Ron Bolden in 81, Len Willing 82, 83, Tony Veach, and in 84, Glenn Middlemas.
Hinton still looking for every advantage he can to keep out Osborne. He can't afford to relax with only half the circuit remaining. Coming up to the checkered flag now. And Steve Trinder takes the checkered flag to win round 2, the Toshiba 500cc Australian Road Racing Championships.
With only about 7 seconds separating the first 3. Steve Trinder first on 14, the 4-cylinder RGB Suzuki. From number 33, Peter Radford from Western Australia on a similar Suzuki 500 in 2nd place. And then Tony Hinton third on a 250 Rotax powered machine. Number 43, and very close behind him in 4th place, the Victorian Donny Osborne on the Honda V-twin 250cc also, and number 18.
And within that race there were some magic moments. This was one of them, as Osborne thought he had Tony Hinton's measure at the end of the straight, and then suddenly wham goes Hinton straight underneath him, knees scraping the deck, and Osborne had no answer. And the results of the Toshiba 500cc Australian Road Race Championship, round 2 at Oran Park. Steve Trinder on the Suzuki 500, and Peter Radford on his Suzuki 500, and then the first of the 250s, Tony Hinton.
The race time, 19 minutes 22.06 seconds, an average speed of 121 kilometres an hour. To that man, Steve Trinder. Very nice to see him back too. And we reminded you that he won the Australian Championship in 1980. Do you remember back in 1973, a man called Greg Hansford was the Australian 500 champion on a 350 Yamaha, as he was also the Unlimited champion. And of course he won a lot of other titles as well. Nice to see that camaraderie there. Radford would be delighted. Radford was 5th down in Tasmania, behind Don Osborne 4th, Michael Dowson 3rd. Michael Dowson's had a fairly wretched day at Oran Park, the man whose last year and this has been going superbly for him. But let's go down now to Peter Wilkins.
Steve Trinder, congratulations.
That is such a relief to get that thing off, believe me.
Steve, I heard you say before that this machine scared you a little. Was that in jest, or were you serious about it?
No, it wasn't in jest, believe me. It still scares me. It's a beautiful thing to ride. I'm surprised actually, because the lap times of the 250s and the speed of them, I don't know what went wrong. But it was for the better, I'm quite sure about that. We're wrapped, we're very pleased. It's only my 2nd ride. My last one was Tasmania. The whole team's going to be pretty well ecstatic tonight, I can tell you that now. Me too, me included. And we're looking forward to bigger and better things, really, because I can only improve now. 2 rides, I can only do a little bit better.
Well, many people thought that you might have called it a day. Why are you still racing and in such fine style?
Well, I had called it a day 4 years ago now. But I've tried all the different sports, the golf and the tennis, and all the rest, and it really didn't give me the buzz that I really wanted, and I loved this game. There was no ifs or buts, I loved it. Everyone tried to talk me out of it, and I thought, no, I've got to go back just for me.
Congratulations, we've got Kerry Nuss from Toshiba here with the goodies. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.